Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. I'm delighted to be joined again with one of our amazing alumni, Rommel Villa, with his fantastic film Sweet Potatoes. Let's take a look at the clip.
Intento tras intento tras intento, y aún no logramos sintetizar la hormona que prevenga embarazos. Le falta viscosidad y menos alcalinidad. Da como un resultado una sustancia más consistente, aunque un tanto ácida. Vale la pena cultivarla. Por favor, funciona.
Rommel, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for making another extraordinary film. It doesn't stop. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of Sweet Potatoes.
Okay. Well, hey, Danny, and hey, everyone. Thank you so much for having me over again.
Of course.
Sweet Potatoes is a historical film based on the life events that happened to Luis Miramontes, the Mexican scientist who in 1951 synthesized the main component of the birth control pill. And the film focuses on all the series of events that happened right after this revolutionary yet controversial invention happened.
Well, I mean, 70 years ago, this, literally to the year now. And I am amazed by this story. And I'm so glad that you pinpointed this story, but I was kind of shocked and disgusted that this story wasn't told. And because it was such a significant part to what we take for granted today, essentially, and it's part of our everyday life. And, you recognize the true people that were involved in this. Where did the inspiration come for you? How did you find out about the story and say, I just have to turn this into a film?
Yeah, I'm originally from Bolivia. I came to the US 5 years ago. And when I came to the US, there is a cultural shock. There's like a lot of adapting to do. And for me, I also experienced, unfortunately, like a lot of the stereotypes against the Latinx community. And that was a little bit of a, I don't know, like a wake up call in a way, So for a while, I was like wondering, like, who am I? Where do I come from? Like, what do I represent here? Like, do people believe all these things about all of us? Like, just because I'm from Bolivia, like, is it okay for people to, uh, ask me if I have drugs or whatever? Like, things like that are not very nice,
No, it's not.
But it happened, and many people would make like all kinds of comments that were hurtful, So I don't know, like I remember that one day I just sat down and I just did research about um like Latinos, Latinas who had done any sort of work that was important and revolutionary for the world, and whose work was not necessarily recognized, or nobody really knew about it. Like I didn't know so many of these stories that now I do know. So I actually found like a list of a lot of like underrepresented, like genius minds who made like a great work, like for the world that we live in right now. And Luis Miramontes was the one of the ones that I like definitely connected with the most, and like I thought it was fascinating the fact that he was a scientist and as well as a person of faith, a strong faith, and that he was going through struggles financially at home with his family, but also like spiritually and with work, so I thought it was like definitely very important and topical to tell this important story.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an important story, and I was just mesmerized because, you took us back 70 years as well and created this amazing world. And I love that rose to the challenge to, actually film this in Mexico City, and do that also as well. I was just like, firstly, how do you go, what was some of the things you had to do in terms of making a period piece, which we now really call it, I guess 70 years ago, from that time, which was so authentic and so well done. And then also filming, on location from from the place where the story was discovered and told. How was that experience for you, and what were some of the challenges?
Well, you know, it all starts with the story, first of all, and with doing a lot of research. I learned that, you know, when it comes to whenever you decide to work on something that is based on real life events, then there is like additional work, I think, to be done, which is like doing this additional research about the characters, about their story, about where they come from. If it's a period piece, like this case, I watched a lot of like 1950s movies, like in Mexico, you know, Los Olvidados, The Forgotten, like many amazing movies that were really inspiring and that helped get a very good sense of what life used to be like back then, you know, like and I really honestly asked like a lot of people about the way people would dress, the things that they would do, like how they would even speak, you know, like all these kind of things that so we had like science mentors, science advisors, because we have science in the film, and we have to make sure that, you know, obviously we are not including like high technology equipment in the lab because it has to be a 1950s lab. And for that, like it's good to like delegate, you know. So we had like these professors from these schools in Mexico who really helped us learn and understand like the process of like you know, like synthesizing these components and everything. And on the other hand, you know, we had the priest at church, and he was actually there the entire time with us. And also, even like I remember that he gave me some advice about some of the lines that could be improved and things like that. Like he was very particular about, you know, like showcasing the, I guess, the church's side, which was important for me, you know, to really respect and portray things as in point of views as they are, as they were back then, you know, like without actually like necessarily like criticizing or something. I just wanted to like just show these different point of views, and then the audience can decide, you know, like what they think about each of these characters and the situations, you know. So um I had never been to Mexico before,
Wow.
but it was important for me to like to really respect, you know, that this was almost like a documentary kind of experience where you want to like really show these people in this environment and also sell the world, you know, that where they are living in. And so me and my team went to Mexico for a week for location scouting. The people over there were incredibly amazing. We shot in Durango, and they were all so helpful, so kind. Like many of the locations we got for free. uh and I remember people saying like, "Yeah, we'll let you film, but can we be an actor? Can we be an extra?"
Oh, I
You know,
love it.
they just want to be part of the movie in whatever way they can, because they want to learn. And it's also, you know, like, I guess it's kind of cool, you know, to say like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was in this movie or in this film." So it was like it really felt like a family, you know, like a huge family of over 50 people over there, like working to make the story happen. And I think once we went to location scout, and we found all the locations, all the producing started, you know, like in we shot for how many days? I believe 8 days. But we're there for like 3 weeks in total for production. So I needed a couple of weeks to get ready and to work with the actors.
Yeah.
All of the actors are also from the main actors are from Mexico City. The
Mhm.
kids, the rest of the actors are from Durango. They are actually friends of friends, not really like actors. Well, now they are like, you know, professional.
Of course they are. Oh, you know what? Everyone I know is filmed in Mexico has always said when they're making it, particularly in small little places or towns or communities, like it's such a wonderful place to be able to have such a community feel. I love that you encouraged, the community to be part of your project and had some people in there as well. It's really special. One of the things that I think is interesting about your film as well is so many different things, but uh, essentially people probably don't realize there was this kind of a battle with, with church and the kind of religious perspective of it all. And I thought that was very interesting. I mean, was this kind of, even though this was 70 years ago, was there still a bit of challenge in that element with contraception and religion today? Or how was that experience for you making a film about it and highlighting this? Was that something that was interesting? Like, did it compare to today, or has it kind of been got over with now, basically?
I believe it does. I think all the themes that we have in Sweet Potatoes are very topical now. When it comes to female rights and the work of minorities in this world, and how unfair it can be, to like for you to do all the hard work and for others to take advantage of that. And honestly, like the point of view that the religion that the Catholic religion has, I think there has been progress for sure, like 100%. I think a couple of weeks ago I read something about Pope Francis, just encouraging the respect for the LGBT community and things like that, which is like something that you didn't hear like 10 years ago, let alone 70 years ago, So I think there's definitely had been progress, but I think that stories like these are a great reminder of the additional work that there is still like need to happen, And I think I got a lot of validation for this, like after screening it, listening to what the audience had to say, and like just hearing stories about like how people, or like I remember them, like when my grandmother watched it and she was like just remembering how things were back then for her, like comparing it how things are different and similar right now, So I think that when you see that there is this conversation happening, when you see that people are invested in the story, I think that it means that it still kind of applies to what we are living right now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that that I just will stick out with me for forever, which you mentioned there, that that he truly felt he was saving the world from overpopulating, and I just was like, oh, that just like gave me goosebumps. It was just chilling, you know what I mean? And you think to yourself, without these incredible innovators, we wouldn't be in the place we were today.
Yeah.
I'm just so curious, like, obviously this is a great story. I totally get why you made this, but kind of what did you want to sort of educate your audience with in that respect? Like, what did you kind of want them to sort of take from your film?
Even though this film is, it focuses, but there's heavy, science work in it. There's a lot of religion and faith going on. It's actually science versus religion.
Yeah.
But I think that at the end of the day, this film is about family, and it's about the love that you have for your family and the priorities that you have in life. I think that there are things that can look like they are literally going to change the world, like what he did, like what Luis Miramontes did. But by doing so, like sometimes you forget about your kids. Sometimes you forget about your family. Sometimes you forget about mourning a loss, an important one. You forget to be a father, a husband, a person. Like because we can be so like focused on like other things, but at the end of the day, like when you go back home, like who do you see, who do you spend time with, like your family, your kids, your friends, your pets, whatever like your loved ones are. So I think that at the end of the day, the message that I wanted to give was that no matter what happens, like family is there for you, and that should be appreciated. And I think that that ending moment in the film kind of like shows that, that like that if you cannot get a service somewhere, if you cannot make it something happen for you, then you can ask for help, you can gather with your family, and you can come up with solutions, and really like be a family and be happy.
Wow, you've always got so much depth to your film. There's just like so many things about that you touch upon, and that family is one thing. I thought it was so, and validation. Like I just felt so bad that he literally made and was such an integral part of this process, and didn't get the validation he deserved. And I really felt your film gave him the legacy that he did deserve. At least he wasn't able to. And the most amazing thing is that you, as you mentioned at our film festival, you were actually in contact with the family too. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was amazing. Once I was decided that I wanted to make a film about this family, um I look like everywhere. I look online on social media, I don't know, like wherever I could find, asking people like for any of his family members, and I got in contact with Octavio Miramontes, one of his sons. And Octavio is in Mexico City, and he is also a scientist, like his father, kind of like following that legacy. And I didn't even know, that he's also like in the process of writing a book about his father and his legacy and everything that he did, and that he is like a huge admirer of his father and his father's work. And also like I could see how, his dad's, like what his father went through affected Octavio in a personal level, like because he's very passionate when it comes to talking about overpopulation. He's passionate when talking about having kids. I don't believe he has any kids right now, but it's a choice that he made. But like here you can see how the choices that we make are affected by those that we admire, and also like when I talked to him about, like the Catholic Church and things like that, then his opinion was obviously very different because of what his family went through in the
Mhm.
past, so it was all fascinated. I thought like you could even make a documentary about his, like this family, and like what and the reason why they act and they think the way they do, so it was like constant hours and hours of like talking about like his life, the life of his father, of his family, and like really getting all the possible information that I could in order to like come up with the strongest
Yeah.
script and the strongest story, so he was there, especially him, like Octavio was there like throughout most of the process, really like helping understand, like the story and the family and the characters.
I'm just, I'm so glad that you just connected with the family, and you really just had the essence of just trying to be a loving, supporting, extension of his father's legacy. And I think that was so valuable and important. And listen, Ramel, from when you brought your first one to New Filmmakers, I'm like, this guy is special. He's going to go far because your attention to detail, the way you set up scenes, like the way the whole cinematography was so good. The score was amazing as well. Like, my goodness. There's just so much in there, and I'm so excited for you. And even since the last time I met you, you're now an award winner from the highest caliber possible. How has this journey been, even since the last film that you made to this film? Like, you've had tremendous success so early on in your career. Deserving.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, with Sweet Potatoes, we got because it's, it was a USC production. I went to USC, and even though I had already graduated, but it was still considered, like a USC production because the grant we got it through the Snow Foundation, and USC was working kind of like as the production company here. So it qualified for like the Student Academy Awards, and we won the Student Academy Award for Sweet Potatoes. So getting this news, especially in the middle of this pandemic that is so challenging for all of us, honestly, was like probably the best news I ever had. Like when it comes to my professional career, like it was reassuring, and it only like encourages to make bigger and better things for sure.
Well, I mean, listen, you deserve it. You really do, and you have such an important voice, and filmmaking style and ability that we just need to just see you keep making many, 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 many more films. I know that obviously you're so early in your career, but yeah, you won the Academy Award already, so it's not bad. Uh, I would say, again, something that I just want to put to any other student out there, to any filmmaker out there, like, again, you're more experienced now, you're award winning, so you've got a great voice. What's important to you that you could share with your audience in terms of anyone that wants to kind of follow in your footsteps?
Oh, I think that it's good to, well, first of all, watch movies,
Yeah.
watch TV shows, I think that's the best way of learning, like really watching what you love, what you want to do, you know, like watch good movies and bad movies, and learn how to differentiate one from another, and then read a lot of scripts. I actually have to read more scripts to like really learn about not only structure but about what works and what doesn't work, you know. And you can find a lot of resources online for free, you know, just by doing research of your favorite movies and finding the script. I think that's like a great way of educating yourself and like becoming a better filmmaker.
Mhm.
And I think that there is really no excuse when it comes to like filmmaking. You know, like everybody has a cell phone, everybody has an iPhone, everybody has a camera. So you don't need like the fanciest thing to like make something, you know? And I think that you learn by trying and trying and failing, and then, you know, like eventually you'll learn,
Mhm.
and you'll just make bigger and better things. I think like we tend to be like our worst enemies when it comes to like, I'm not talented, I'm
Yeah.
not,
Mhm.
I can do anything, or everything is horrible. And I know that myself, I've lived that myself, you know, like I um people can be on the audience can be, you know, harsh sometimes. And if your film is like your baby, you know, then it becomes personal, and I don't think that's healthy, you know. I think it's good to remind yourself that this I'm making a film, and
Mhm.
this film is for an audience, and it is a product at the end of the day, you know. And people might like it and people might not like it, or you can get mixed reviews, and that's completely okay. People are, you know, it's okay for people to have their own opinions, you know, like, and
Yeah.
just do your job and keep making films. This is not gonna be the last one they're gonna make, you know, that you can just keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
as I mean, that is all extremely inspiring stuff. But you joined a very, not everybody gets to win a Student Academy Award. And to finish on, I just want to know, what was that feeling like for you to win the Student Academy Award? How does USC feel about having one of their students winning it? How does your family feel? Like, what was that experience like? Because that is something that will just hopefully be with you forever, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You will be with me forever.
Yeah.
It's I would say it was the most humbling experience, you know, for sure. I didn't like when they gave us the notice. It was just supposed to be like a regular interview with people from the academy to talk about ourselves. So, but in the middle of this interview with them, they interrupted us, and in my case, Spike Lee popped up on the Zoom call, and then, you know, I just talked
Crazy.
to him. He knew my name. He even knew like where I'm from, like I'm from Bolivia, and he just gave me the news, you know. And I was shocked, like I was completely speechless. And I was like, you shouldn't be saying anything, like, Spike, I should be the one like thanking you and honoring you and doing everything, you know, for you. It was really truly beautiful, you know. And sharing the news with friends, with family, with my crew who had done like so much work. Like, this is all our you
Mhm.
know, our like the recognition that our film got. It's all for us. And like, and the actors were incredibly amazing. It was like, you know, I just think it's amazing because it feels like, and it was like an international production, you know,
Yeah,
um,
of
from
course.
people from many places. Like, to me, it's like I feel proud because I feel like I'm representing my country, Bolivia, you know.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I got an award for
see.
Bolivia, but it's also like, this is a Mexican story, and we had a Mexican cast and crew
Yeah,
in this majority, and then also like a lot of like people from here, from America, and from other places in the world,
yeah,
all around the world. So it was definitely like truly beautiful. And the school like USC was obviously like
yeah,
very excited and happy about it. Like, this would have not been possible without USC's help and the Sloan Foundation, who gave us the grant and the trust, you know. So um, it was the work of a lot of people, and I think it's just really it's an amazing feeling. It's really
yeah.
fulfilling to hear that the academy like would recognize these kind of stories that I think they truly deserve to be told.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's wonderful to have, a Student Academy Award-winning film, Sweet Potatoes, with the, Academy winner, Rommel Villa. And I'm so proud. We're so proud of you at New Filmmakers LA and your journey. And I just, again, like when you find that story, you have to make it, because it always turns out so beautifully on camera, and you educate us as well as entertain us. So thank you very much, Rommel. Thank you for being here. Can't wait for the next thing. What is next now? What's happening next?
Well, I think that Sweet Potatoes is definitely the first chapter of many, and that's something that I was really truly decided after making it. It was the first historical film that I made. I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not. I loved it, and I love the process of really doing research and listening to stories and finding stories that are just from this, like from, I guess, from people who didn't have a voice back then, and I think it's important to like bring that to life. So to me, Sweet Potatoes is like the first episode of like episodic series, where in each episode we can learn the life of like a different, like revolutionary life per se, like not necessarily focusing on their achievement in the world, but the humanity behind it, and I think that would definitely be, it would be fun, to explore like people from different countries, from different places, not only in Latin America, but in the world, and like just see the work that they've done for humanity, and how their work many, many years ago, has affected the world that we live in now. I think it's a great way of like educating and entertaining things. And then just continuing writing, like a couple of features, seeing which one I guess I need to decide which one I would like it to be the first one. And I'm hoping to go back to Bolivia in a month or two, and I'm working with a writer there. I'm gonna film something over there as well, and hopefully I'll be back talking to you soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I hope you get a big fanfare welcome when you go back home to Bolivia after, now an Academy Award winner. This is so great, and I really love what you touched upon just there. You've got a really effective way of pinpointing an underserved, humanizing people that deserve their platform, and I just love that that's part of what you love to do. So thank you very, very much. I'm already looking forward to your next film. So just keep doing it as you can, but get some good rest as well. And well done on Sweet Potatoes. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Danny, and it was so great seeing you again. And
always, yeah.
This is not the last time that we are seeing each other.
No, in person. I want you in person again. We'll get there eventually. We will do. But no, thank you very, very much.